Never trust the early favorites. That's the rule every time the Catholic Church gets ready to choose a new pope. People talk about front runners, but history shows the winner is often a total surprise. So who's really in line to become the next pope, and why does it matter so much right now? Today, we're breaking down who could be the next pope, where they're from, how old they are, what they stand for, and the real reasons some cardinals want them or want to stop them at any cost. So, what's the problem? Well, it's simple. The Catholic Church is at a major crossroads. Pope Francis shook things up a lot. He changed the vibe, pushed big reforms, spoke out on climate change, and tried to make the church more open. Some love it, others hate it. Now, the cardinals are split. Should the next pope be a reformer like Francis or pull back and go conservative again? But here's the twist. Pope Francis made sure almost 80% of the cardinals who get to vote were picked by him. So, in theory, they should want someone similar, right? Maybe not. Let's start with the big names everyone's talking about. But stick around. The wild cards and controversies might shock you. The first contender, Cardinal Pietro Parolin. He's the Vatican Secretary of State. If you don't know what that means, just think of him as the Prime Minister of the Vatican. He's Italian. He's 69 years old. He's known as steady, diplomatic, calm under pressure. Parolin is deeply involved in the Vatican's international relations. He's handled deals with China, Russia, and other world powers. He also helped shape Francis's policies, especially about climate change. Sounds safe, right? Here's the catch. Some say he's too much of a politician and not enough of a pastor. Pope Francis once said he wants leaders who smell like the sheep, meaning close to the people, not just stuck in Vatican offices. But there's something else. For decades, there's been a push to not give the papacy back to an Italian after so many non-Italians. Will the cardinals go against that? Parolin is respected, but some say he lacks the wow factor, and some insiders think the world's Catholics want someone outside Europe. Now, meet the next big name, Cardinal Luis Antonio Tagle from the Philippines. He's 67. He's often called the Asian Pope Francis because he's known for being humble, for caring deeply about the poor, and for a simple, relatable style. He talks about real-world problems, from poverty to climate to technology. Tagle is charismatic. He smiles a lot. Some say he has a wow factor. He's led huge crowds in Asia, and he connects well with young people. But is he actually a frontrunner? Some say yes. Others worry he doesn't have enough experience running a huge institution. Let's go to Africa next, and this is where things get complicated. There are two names to know. First, Cardinal Fridolin Ambongo Besungu from the Democratic Republic of the Congo. He's 64. He leads a massive Catholic community in Africa and is seen as a bold, outspoken leader. Ambongo is known for fighting for justice, and he's not afraid to talk about politics. He's criticized corruption, he's defended the poor, and he's a powerful voice for African Catholics. But here's the twist. His outspokenness makes some Vatican insiders nervous. The Church hasn't had a pope from Africa in over 1,500 years. Could this be the moment? Second, Cardinal Robert Sarah from Guinea. He's 78. He's considered a leading conservative. He's openly spoken out against what he calls gender ideology, abortion, and euthanasia. Sarah is popular among more traditional Catholics, especially those who want to see the Church stick closely to old teachings and traditions. But Sarah's age could work against him. Most cardinals prefer a younger pope who could serve for longer, and his strong conservative stance could split the votes. Back to Europe now. Let's talk about Cardinal Peter Erdo from Hungary. He's 72nd. Erdo is known for being smart, calm, and a manager type. He's handled big church events. Erdo is a mix. He's not as conservative as Sarah, but not as liberal as Francis. He's friends with many cardinals and is respected for his balanced approach. Erdo could be a compromise candidate. Not too left, not too right. But is compromise enough? Some insiders think Erdo might be too much of a safe choice for a time when people want something bold. And what about the Americas? Cardinal Blas Kupic from the US, 75 years old. Cardinal Kupic is more progressive than many American bishops. He's spoken out for immigration rights, social justice, and stronger efforts to protect children. He knows the Vatican system well and could be a surprise pick, but his ties to Francis and his policies could make him a target for conservatives. Let's not forget the outsiders. There's Cardinal Jean-Claude Hollerich from Luxembourg, 65, a Jesuit, and very outspoken about including LGBTQ+ Catholics and pushing for reforms. He's been called dangerous by traditionalists, but some say he represents the future. Then, Cardinal Matteo Zuppi from Italy. Zuppi is 68 and known for peace efforts in Africa and his strong support for the poor. He's described as down-to-earth, funny, and approachable. Some say he's the people's cardinal. Now, let's step back and ask, what do these cardinals actually want? What are the fights happening behind the scenes? Some want to continue the changes Francis started. These cardinals want the church to be more welcoming and less strict. They want a pope who listens and tries to modernize things. But others say the church is moving too fast. They worry about losing tradition. They argue that some changes, especially around who can be a priest or new views on sexuality, are breaking old rules that have lasted centuries. These cardinals want a strong leader who will reinforce reinforce old teachings, cut back on new experiments, and bring back more Latin masses and stricter discipline. This story isn't just about religion, it's about power, politics, and the future of one of the oldest institutions on Earth. Think you know who it'll be? Let us know in the comments, and hit subscribe for the latest breakdowns.